Do you know what happens when people start to invest or they put themselves in a position to where they get money for the first time? They start to tell everybody. They tell their friends, they tell their coworkers, they even tell their family. But what if I told you that that's probably not something that you should be doing? Well, in today's video, I'm going to be walking you through why you shouldn't tell everyone your plans about how you're investing and how you're moving in general. The very first thing is that people generally don't understand really what you're trying to do. I mean, you just started to invest in my small portfolio builder challenge. Shameless plug right there. And you have people that come up and they'll say, hey man, you're investing in the stock market. Hey man, do you see the stock market is starting to tank? Have you looked at the news today? I would never put my money in the market because that's the best way to lose it. It's like putting your money in a casino. I used to hear that so much when I first started investing in the stock market. And even today, when people find out that I like to talk about investing in the stock market and all things money, that's one of the first things that they always say. But what they fail to realize is that my preference is to actually invest in the stock market whenever the market is red or pulling back. Why do I want to buy when the market is at or near all-time high? Now, I actually do invest as the market is going up because I don't try to time the market. But if I have a preference on how I like to invest, I want to invest when the market is in free fall. I'm talking about falling hard because that's going to give me the most opportunity to buy more of a particular investment and ride the wave whenever the market recovers. That's one thing that I think people have a hard time kind of understanding is that in the US, in the stock market, specifically in the S&P 500, it may pull back and we may have times where the market is red and people are losing money and we're in a recession. But what ultimately ends up happening is the market snaps back and it typically hits all-time highs once that happens. So whenever you go out there and you tell people that you're starting to invest in the stock market, a lot of times they don't understand it. And unfortunately, we fear what we don't understand. And let's face it, most of us were never taught what to do with our money. We were taught the basics. You save money or you spend money. That's it. There's no in between. But there's a better way, and investing is the way to go. But I get it. You're excited. You're learning to invest is something new and you want to talk to someone about it. My suggestion would be is to get a group of people that are like-minded, that are also interested in investing or starting a business or whatever that goal is that you have, and have that conversations with those people. I guarantee you, if you go online and you search investment group meetups, there'll be tons of different meetups that happen across your city where people meet in person and they have an opportunity to talk and share ideas about investing, starting a business, real estate, whatever it may be. And if you don't want to go to meetups, you could always subscribe to my channel where I talk about investing, money, and making a better version of yourself right here on my channel. The second reason that you don't want to tell people that you're starting to invest or you're touching real money for the first time is because ego gets in the way. See, a lot of us have the same friend group since college, high school. Now, we may not have everybody in that group that used to hang together, but we typically have a few people that we've been interacting with, hanging out with, socializing with for quite some time. And we've got used to how each other operate and how we move. And once you start moving a little bit differently than everybody else that is in your group or around you, they're going to start looking at you differently, right? They're going to think that you think that you're better than them. They're going to think that you're going crazy. They're going to have all these types of things that they're thinking, right? But what you have to understand, it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them, because whenever people see you start to move in a particular direction where you're trying to improve yourself, you're trying to do something different, it really shines a spotlight on them and it shows where their deficiencies are. Now, I'm not saying that everybody wants to invest in the market. Not everybody wants to start a business, or not everybody wants to invest in real estate, but it really shows that their life may be a little stagnant. So whenever that typically happens, I never take it personally. And it took me a long time to really understand this point, that it really never had anything to do with me per se. It had everything to do with that spotlight being shown on that person, and it really just spotlighted where their deficiencies were in their life. Third reason that you don't really want to go out there and talk to people about investing or touching money is that things and situations change. So for example, You may be investing in the stock market 6 months straight and something happens. A life event happens to where you have to either stop or slow down your investing. And it's going to take you a little while to get back on your feet until you can get back into the groove of things and really start to go get it. And then what typically happens when lifes, because it seems like this is always what happens, somebody that you were having a conversation with and telling them about your goals and what you had going on, they'll come and they'll ask you, so, hey, how's that little investing thing that you have going on, right? They always throw in that little thing that you're doing, right? And if you've had to either stop or make a detour on everything that you're doing, and you have to now tell them like, hey, I had to stop investing, I had some things happen, and I'll have to get back on it at a later date. That is just draining your energy. That's an energy drain, because now you have to have a whole bunch of conversations and focus the discussion on how or why you haven't met your goal or why you can't continue to do the thing that you told everybody that you were doing. Now, some people may not care about that. They maybe want to have those conversations, but to me, it's just, I don't have the energy to do that. I'm 45 years old. I don't have the energy to have conversations with people outside of my household and a very small group of people that are in my circle about really what's going on in my life. It's not that I keep things from people, but there's certain things that I don't want to share with people, certain details that they don't need to know. Everybody doesn't need to know your business and what you have going on. And then lastly, it's almost like a surprise element, right? Like you pop up out of nowhere and you're working towards your goals and people are really starting to notice something has changed about you. Something is different. Now, you haven't been out there broadcasting what you're doing, but you may, start to see some of these people and they'll view you in a different light because you're starting to do the things that you've been working on behind the scenes and it's starting to show. Think about it this way. We all know someone that has either disappeared. It seems like they've disappeared off the face of the planet. They don't go out anymore. You don't really see them active on social media. You don't really ever hear or see anything about them. And then all of a sudden they pop up and they look completely different. Maybe they lost a lot of weight. Maybe they changed their career. Maybe they're just in a position to where everything that you knew about them before was completely different. And you're just amazed, you're surprised. You're like, wow, man, either you look good or hey, man, you're doing great. It's like the element of surprise because that person they did their work in silence, didn't feel the need to broadcast what they were doing to everyone. And then they showed up and they showed out. Look, it's up to you on what you want to do. But typically what I tell people is whenever you're starting to go towards a goal or you're starting to work towards getting your finance together or you're starting to work on investing and learning how to invest in the stock market, the less that you tell people about what you have going on, that's going to be to your benefit. I'm not telling you to gatekeep. If somebody comes to you and they're asking you questions about how to invest or what you're doing so they can kind of emulate everything that you have going on because they want to be in a position that they see that you're moving towards. I mean, if you want to have some general conversations about how you're moving and some of your thoughts on that, I'm not telling you not to do that. I'm really just referring to going out there and broadcasting to the masses everything that you have going on, because it seems like whenever you do that, the things that you're working on, they start to get off track a little bit and you might kind of lose your way. You might kind of lose your focus on getting to that goal that you have. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm a firm believer in not going out and broadcasting everything that I have going on to the masses. I prefer to work in silence and then pop out whenever the work is done. But I'd be curious to hear what you guys think. Leave me a comment down below and let me know.